Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb, and today we're going to be taking a look at solo hell, also known as Latin hypercubes. The solo for this module is actually not too difficult to do, but the concept of it and how long it actually takes is what makes this a nightmare to do. This is Latin hypercubes. We have a 4x4x4 grid here, sort of looking like a cube in this case, and essentially there's going to be four of these individual cubes, each with different clues that have already been placed on the module for us. So that's going to be corresponding to the W command, and as we can see when the light turns back on, the grid will change each time we press the W command. Now, the numbers for each of these guys up top is going to be in the range of 0 through 3, basically meaning that there's going to be four different numbers for each of them, four different positions. And as we can see, if we click the W, each of the individual clues change, meaning that this is another quadrant of the hypercube in this case. So only solids with the same W coordinate as the selector are visible on the module. That's the way that this works. It's essentially four different parts of the module, and we're going to be using each of those individual parts later on. So what exactly is our goal with this module? Our goal is to essentially fill more than 2/3 of each of the cells are filled, which you're going to see a little status indicator later on to tell me how many more times we need to actually fill a position. So we're only going to be doing one example today because this module is straightforward with how the rules work. It's just the length of it takes so long. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a sort of Sudoku style puzzle, which is going to be essentially each row, column, stack, and rank of the grid may only contain one of each shape. So each of the rows, which you can do either way, rows, columns, because remember this is a hypercube, so this is going to be, remember we're looking at it from the top, this is the front, because if we're looking at it down here, this square in this bottom right corner corresponds to the front right there. The bottom is behind us, currently where that little dot is. That's the bottom part of it. And the left and right, of course, left and right. That's going to be the way that we look at things. It really doesn't have anything to do with the actual hypercube rotations, but the x, y, and z coordinates do correspond to the whole hypercube sense. Because, for example, x corresponds to your left and right, so if we hit x, we'll watch our white dot go from left to right and looping back around. Yankee will essentially be going from bottom to top. As we can see, it's coming closer to us. And Zulu will be your back to front. Just like that. And your W will, of course, be the ones that is switching each of the individual grids. So we need to essentially figure out how we can fill in each of these guys here. So we want to pay attention, and we want to find sort of the best position, of course, that will give us some sort of starting clues, because we have a lot of cubes, a lot of cells that we need to fit in here, because there's going to be a lot of different positions that could be filled or unfilled. And immediately taking a look, if we take a look at this column here, we have I'm going to call this a triangle. If I happen to call it a different name, I really don't care. I might just even start calling them colors, just for the sake of that. Mostly just for the distinction of the red and the yellow. The oranges I won't bother with. If we take a look here at this column here, we have red and both oranges, which means that if we navigate over to here, so let's go to 3x. Let's go to, I believe, 3 Yankee, and let's go down 1. In this position, we are able to successfully say that this is going to be the yellow here. And just like that, if it happens to place, that means that is in the correct position. If not, of course, it will give you a strike, which I don't want to strike right now because I really don't want to run out of time, so I'm not going to do that. At least I'm going to try not to, because I probably will strike one way or another. So essentially, this is what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be essentially filling in each of these individual parts, trying to find different clues that can help us along the way. So let's take a look, because there is really not that much we can do with this one here. So let's take a look. Right here, we can actually figure out that we know for a fact that there's going to be a some sort of prism, some sort of yellow one here, because of the fact that these four positions have already been filled up. We need to figure out essentially which row that's going to be corresponding to, and in this case, it's going to be the bottom row here. But it has to be the furthest toward the closest towards you. So let's do that. So let's do you, and just like that, if we put it in this position and we place the yellow there, that will make sense. There's no other row that contradicts it. This yellow guy right here in the middle does not contradict it, so we can press the yellow here. And now, if we saw the check mark, and then that was a 130. So this means that we have to do 130 more cells in order to solve this module. Yippee. Okay. So this is what this module wants you to do this entire time. So that's what we're going to be doing. And let's take a look. So let's try and take a look at some of the other ones, because this is where the W command is going to help you in a much bigger play. So let's see if we can actually figure out any of these two back ones here. We need to determine between the diamond and the dodecahedron. We need to determine between these two spots. If we can figure out any position in one of the other guys, that will be helpful. Oh, and perfect. Just like this. We know for a fact that the diamond has been placed in this position in one of the different W's, which means that we cannot place it in this W right here. We cannot place the diamond right here because we already have that placed in another position. So this means if we head over to the right, and by the way, when you happen to place when you happen to navigate over a current shape that's already been placed in the module, it will highlight as one of the shapes that you have down here. That's just a way of showing your current position and what it correlates to. So if we go 3 to the right, if we go back to the front, which we're currently on the square, and if we go down here, we know for a fact that this cannot be the diamond, and the other symbol that we're missing here, which is as a refresher, if we go to W3, I believe it was, there is already a diamond there, which means we cannot use that in this position. So this means that we're going to be using the other shape that is not present, the dodecahedron, which means that our last shape at the top here is going to be corresponding to the diamond. So if we do the Z, which is from bottom to top, or from front to back, or back to front, if we go up to 0, that's going to allow us to place the diamond, and just like that, that is good to go. So that's essentially what you're going to be doing. If you don't know how Sudoku works, I would advise you to know how Sudoku works. This is essentially sort of a Kudo Sudoku style with it, and that's essentially what we're going to be doing for this entire module. So let's try and take a look at some other clues that we could potentially gather. And for the most part, it doesn't really look like we're going to have much information on this one particular grid here. So we're going to take a look at some of the other ones and see if we can figure anything out, because there's not really that much here either. That's also great. Okay, let's take a look at some other examples here. Ooh, okay, here we go. So we know for a fact that taking a look from this position, each of them are going to have each of them are currently in different columns. So what this could mean is that we could be taking a look at the third column here. We need to figure out which row we're going to want to put that in. So let's take a look and let's base it off of this, which actually doesn't help me that much, because we don't know if it's going to be. Oh, we actually do know, because of the fact that there is already one position with that diamond up there, and we know for a fact that that diamond already takes the top position. We know for a fact that we can actually use it here. So let's take a look. So this means that our prism here, if we highlight over the diamond, that's not what I want to do. If we highlight right there, none of the stuff that we have correlates with it, and that should work out in this position. It should. And just like that, it does. So let's take a look. Immediately right here, if we take a look at this column with the dodecahedron and the prism, which we just placed, we can take a look at that square, and it cannot go in the third position, which means if we go one more Zulu out, or not one more Zulu, we go to one more Yankee out, we know for a fact that the square can go here because of the fact that the square prevents it from being one position closer to us. So we know for a fact that the square is going to be there, and if we move one more Zulu, we can place our Yankee rather, we can place our last symbol here, which is the diamond. Okay, so let's keep looking. We can actually take a look at this triangle here. At this row. The hardest part of this module is actually just keeping track of everything, so if what I'm explaining doesn't make sense, just focus on individual rows and columns that I'm going after. Of course, the grid makes it a little bit tricky to actually view, so I'm sorry about that. But in this case, we have this little, prism on the bottom row here, this triangle down here. If we happen to go up to the second row in that same column, what we can essentially do is we can rule out the possibility of the triangle being there, which means it needs to be over in the rightmost of that row. So that means that if we do in the same row right here, we can place the triangle right here. Safe to go. Now we can fill out this last row with the last symbol that we need, which is going to be the dodecahedron, just like that. And as we can see, we have a complete row based off of the clues that were given to us. Let's take a look and see what else we can do. With these square and triangle here, the dodecahedron in this row prevents it from being placed in the fourthmost position. So let's actually navigate there. In this position, we cannot place the dodecahedron because of the fact that it's in the exact same row as that current position right now. So that means that we're going to be placing the other symbol that we need to place, which is the diamond. That's good to go. And this means that to complete this column, or row, whatever you prefer to say, is going to be the dodecahedron. So if we go back to Yankee, when we place the dodecahedron, that is good to go. 121, we're making our way there. Now, for the most part, I'm pretty much going to stop explaining things until we get to a point where we potentially can use some of the other grids to help us figure out some other points, because there is going to be some cases where you're not going to be able to actually determine the actual positions based off of the clues given to you on one single grid. You can, of course, potentially get a full grid full. However, keep in mind that there is the possibility of there being two different cases happen where it has to be two different 2x2 spots that happen to be the exact same symbols, and there's no way that you can tell the clues. This is where the W command comes in to prevent this sort of situation from happening. So just keep that in mind. Use the other grids to your knowledge as well. That's going to essentially help you because each of these individual cells has to have all 4 different symbols present. So let's take a look. So taking a look at this column here, we know for a fact that the topmost one is going to be the dodecahedron. So let's navigate to there. So it's going to be right here. This is going to be the dodecahedron. Just like that. That's good to go. The prism has to be in the 4th position, so that has to be there. And this means that this is going to be the other one that we're missing, which is the diamond. Okay. Then let's take a look here. Oh, down at the bottom here, we can, if they should be all on the same, yep, they are. So that means we can place the dodecahedron down there. So let's go 2 to the right, down twice, and we need to go one forward towards us, dodecahedron. Okay, that's good. So far, we already have a couple good things going for us, but we need to make sure that we don't miss anything else. Taking a look here, this means this prism at the second row on the module right here means that we cannot have the prism in the first row, the one that's closest to us, with the dodecahedron and the diamond here. That means we have to place it in the second position right in front of this other dodecahedron. So let's do that. That's going to be 3. Yep, we want that. Okay, so now we can place the triangle or the prism here. Then we have the square here. That's good. Taking a look here, that dodecahedron over there cannot go in the 4th position in this row that we're looking at right now. So this means it's going to be in the 3rd position. So let's take a look here. So let's go 3 to the right. So that means it has to be in this position because it cannot go in that position. Okay, and then our last position in this row is going to be the prism, the diamond rather. That last row is going to be our square over there, so let's do that. So let's go, it's 1, yeah, it's right there, so it's going to be our square. That's good. If we go 1 more forward, that's going to be, that's not what I want. Right there. If we go there, we can place our diamond there, just like that. Let's take a look. Yeah, as I said, this is going to be basically a solo hell. This is a nightmare to do. But keep in mind, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's just very, very, very tedious process. So let's keep looking. Let's see if we can have anything else that can help us here. We're going to be running out of options here soon, because there really is not that much left that we can do. Is there perhaps anything that we can get from below? No, not really. This is kind of where we're probably going to have to switch to another grid, because we have a lot filled up here, but there is not really that much we can do from this point on. What we can do, I guess, is use this column here with the dodecahedron and the diamond in the background. is going to be corresponding to, in this case, if in this grid, it's going to be Charlie 3. What we can do is we can take this prism over here, try to place it in the Charlie 3 position, but realize that we can't actually place that there. We need to place that triangle at the top. So let's go x2 all the way to the top. This means that we have, it's one more back. This means that this prism is going to be here. Okay, if we go 2 down, this is going to be the other position that we don't have, which is the square. Okay, that's a good start. To the right of us, we cannot have the dodecahedron in the second position with the prism in the square. So that's going to be over here. And the other position is going to be the diamond. Okay, starting to get somewhere. Again, it's all about looking around and it's all about orientation. I'm actually going to now take a look at this in full screen, just so you guys get a better view of it, hopefully. Take a look here. So let's keep looking. But yeah, easily the most annoying part of this module is the grid. The grid itself is really hard to, it can really mess with you. So just keep that in mind and try to look at it from a different angle to see if everything is correct and everything you want to have is correct. Ooh, this square right here, this square cannot be in the second position on the top because of the fact that it is in this column. So this means that it's going to be in the fourth position. So let's go over to 2. So it's going to be here, yes. And the other position is going to be right there. That's going to be the dodecahedron, just like that. Now then, let's take a look and see what else we can do with this. Because really your goal is you want to try and get as much as you can in one individual grid, because the more you have in one individual grid, the more it helps you with the other grids as well. Getting rid of one grid is going to give you a much better idea of how positions actually are starting to look and how it all shapes up. But remember, you only need to do 2/3 of this module, so again, trying to get as much done as you can on one grid is going to be good for you, because that means the more clues you're given for later grids. So let's keep looking, and let's see if we can find anything else that can help me. Is I'm having a lot of trouble with this one, actually, which is to be expected considering the module. We might be out of options here. We actually might be out of options that we can't do. Oh, no, we're not quite yet. So if we go over down to this column with the cube and the dodecahedron, we can place, we cannot place this triangle or this prism in the third position. We need to place it in the fourth position because it is in this position here. So let's go over to x is 0. Let's go back to Yankee equals 1, and let's go down to Zulu. So we cannot place the triangle here because it is currently in this position. Does not work like that. If we place it down one more time, that works. Perfect. And if we were to place the other position, which is currently a 3, that is going to be the diamond. Just like that. Okay, does this help me in any way, shape, or form? Not really, because looking at this, it's going to be shaping up to what I was expecting. These two symbols at the top, so for example, we have diamond, diamond triangle, diamond triangle, diamond triangle, diamond triangle. We can't really get any clues to what exactly the positions of the dodecahedron and the square are going to be in what position. So this is where we're going to have to use essentially the other grids. Let's see if we can get any knowledge that we can obtain from this left part of the grid here. See if we can get any sort of dodecahedrons that might help us, because that's going to be really good for us. Oh, and just like that, this square has to be right here, so this means that this position is going to be a dodecahedron in the other grid. That's just a guaranteed fact. If we do this here, this position was a square, and if we take a look, this was exactly a square, as we can see here. And this means that this is going to be essentially a dodecahedron. This confirms a couple spots that we needed to. That's perfect. This is where using the other grids comes into play here to avoid cases like those from happening and you having to force guess it. That's going to be the case. That's going to be where that thing is important. So let's go down here. And now we can essentially fill in the rest of these spots here, because we know for a fact that this was the dodecahedron and this was the square. And we're essentially going to reverse those positions, this being the square and this being the dodecahedron, just like that. That is good to go. So let's go down one time, which should be you. Yep, and that's going to be our square. Let's go forward. That's going to be our dodecahedron. And let's go up. Let's go there. Yep, that's going to be our square. And just like that, that issue has been resolved. That's exactly what this is for. Now, let's take a look and see what else we can do. Ooh, right here. Taking a look here, if we actually look up here, we need to figure out the position of the prism or triangle in this first row at the bottom here that is closest towards us. With this dodecahedron, we can place the triangle not in the second or fourth, but we can place it in the third safely. That would work for us. So let's move 2 to the right and let's move 1 down. This prism can work here, like that. And if we move, we can finish up this column right here with the diamond, just like that. We can finish up this row with the dodecahedron. So let's go two to the right here, right there. Now let's see what else we can do. Okay. Oh, just like that, we can finish up the bottom row. So let's go down here. We know for a fact that the square cannot go in the fourth position because that's already in this column. That does not work like that. So we can simply place the square right here, just like that. Finish off the row with the diamond, just like that. And let's take a look. This column over here with the diamond and the square, we cannot place a triangle in the fourth position because of the fact that this is already occupied by this guy over on the far right side in this row. So this means that we're going to be placing the triangle in the third position. So let's go over to the third here. Like that. This means we have to place it here. And just like that, we can wrap up that row. Like that. Let's see if we got any other clues. The square cannot go in the second position at this bottom row here because of the fact that it is right here in this position. Because it intersects with that row in that position. So that means the square is going to be in the third, the diamond is going to be in the second. So let's go to the right. Diamond we said was going to be second, and square is going to be third, just like that. Now we can pretty much finish up the bottom rows. This is where things get a little bit hard to see. We can essentially take a look. We want the diamond to be in the third position for this row because of the fact that the diamond is already in the second position down here. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to go to the third position. We want to stay with the X. And that's where we're going to put the diamond, just like that. And the other missing character or shape for that row is going to be the dodecahedron. That's going to go in the second position. Dodecahedron. And just like that, the bottom row, all 4 bottom rows have been filled out. Let's take a look at the rest of these positions. Now the third row here, if we go over X is 3, not Yankee is 3. We want to go Zulu. Let's go down here. We know for a fact that we cannot place the diamond in the fourth position for this, for the prism and the dodecahedron, because of the fact that the diamond is right there. So we want to place it one more forward, like that. And we want to place the last remaining position right there as a square. Now, if we go up to the top, that's going to be the prism here. So let's go the prism, just like that. And as you can see, things start coming together really, really fast for this. So the second position is going to be the dodecahedron. Okay. Let's take a look. Now, things might get a little bit tricky. If we move one more forward, just like that, we know for a fact that this second row cannot have the prism in the fourth position because of the fact that it is right there. So let's place the prism there. If we move to the right twice, we can place the other square that we need to place there. Perfect. Let's take a look. The square has to go in the second position, not the fourth, because of the fact that it's already in the fourth position, right here. So the square is going to be going right in at Bravo 3 from this position, from this view. So let's do that. So let's go X is 1, Yankee is 2. That's going to be our square. Let's finish up that row. That's going to be the diamond in Charlie 3, like so. And then we're pretty much in the home stretch here. So this means that we're going to have to take a look at this position. This is going to be the dodecahedron. Okay, and then if we move to the right twice, we know for a fact that that last position is going to be our diamond. It's the one that we're missing. And just like that, we have finished one of the grids. And I believe, or no, we're not quite done yet. We have a couple more positions that we need to fill in back here. Taking a look, what are the ones that we're missing? This is where things can get a little bit nasty to do. So we're missing currently the prism and the square. The square cannot go in the fourth position, so that means it's going to be going in the third. Let's try and navigate our way there. So So it's going to be right there. So the square is going to be in the third position. Yep, that's good. And then that's going to be the dodecahedron. No, not the dodecahedron. It's going to be the triangle in the backwards position. Has to be, because there is the one that's missing, that column. Okay? And then these last two symbols, if you move one to the right, the one we're missing for this one is the dodecahedron, because we have the prism back there, the triangle, and the square, and the cube, rather. Again, don't worry about my pronunciations, comment section. I'm bad at this, and I really do not care. As long as I'm explaining the concept of how this works successfully, that's what I'm mainly concerned with. Okay, and then we move one forward to place the prism there. And now our grid is done. If we take a look, everything is in its place. All 4 rows have been completed, all 4 rows, columns, and grids. This is what we're looking for, and we currently have only 70 more positions that we need to place. This is really, really good for us, because now we can essentially focus on some of the other ones that are a little bit more populated, for example, and we can start focusing on these. Now, immediately up in the top left, I can already see that we have a couple positions of which we can build off from. So let's go over here. Let's go back to the top left, set them all to 0. We know for a fact that we already have the dodecahedron, the prism, and the square in that position, so we're going to be doing the diamond. And just like that, that also helps us with the row. So this means that it's going to be the dodecahedron in that position. So let's move to the 2 to the right, dodecahedron. Lovely. This column right here with the square and the diamond, we cannot place the prism in the 3rd position because that corresponds to the exact same row as it would in that position. So that means the prism is going to be in the 4th position. So let's go over 3 to the right, to the square. We know for a fact that it's going to be back here. Or rather, it's going to be back here. And that means our 3rd position is going to be the dodecahedron. Just like that. Now, if you'll excuse me for just 1 second. Apologies, I am back. I had to take my had to bring my dog in for a second. So now, so we've gotten that part fixed up. If we can take a look at the prism and the dodecahedron on the other side of the square and the prism here, we know for a fact that the dodecahedron cannot be placed in the 3rd position here. So that means it is going to be here, and that is, as you guess, it's the prism or the diamond rather. Okay, let's see what we can do here with these middle 2 potentially, because these are not all the exact same symbols. Immediately we can rule out that the diamond is going to be in the Bravo 3 position because it is in the same row as Bravo 2 and Bravo 3, Bravo 2 and Charlie 2, and then prism, and then this prism down here is in the same position, is in the same column as the Charlie 2, Charlie 3. So that means we're ruling out one option. It's got to be there. Yep. And then we have the square in this position. Okay. Moving one to the right is going to be the prism. Moving one back is going to be the square. I'm going to start speeding things up a little bit because this is taking a little bit longer than I expected it to. But we're getting much closer. I believe it was 61 the last time I checked it. That we have for cells remaining. We're doing really well so far, but we're not out of the woods quite yet. So let's go down. Let's go down here to 1. That's in the 2nd position for Yankee, right there. That's going to be corresponding to a square. Taking a look at this column down here, let's go to 0. That's got to be the dodecahedron. Moving back 1, that's going to be the prism. That 3rd position has to be a square because the square in the second column right there. That's going to be the diamond because it's the last one remaining. The prism is in the 1st column right here, so that means it's going to be right there. Yep, that's good. And then the other symbol that we're missing is the dodecahedron, classic. Okay. Moving right twice takes me to prism. Yep. Let's see if we can cross anything out. The square has to be in the second position. So it's going to be right there. That means that you're going to be that means the diamond is going to be in the third right there. Okay. Finishing off our couple rows here. Prism is going to be in this row right there. Yep, that's the one that's missing. And then finally, we're going to end that one, the other row down there, with a dodecahedron. Okay. That's good so far. That's really, really good progress. Going back up here with the square, the dodecahedron, and the triangle, we're going to do x equals 0, so you 0, you 2, yep, we're going to make you a diamond. Okay, that's good. If we move over to the right, you know for a fact that it can't be the diamond in that position, it has to be right here. Yep, moving down one will take me to a square. The dodecahedron right here has to be in this position. Same thing with the prism has to be right here. And you start to see things come together, and that's really what you're after, because that's going to be really, really helpful with solving this module a lot faster. So the dodecahedron cannot be right there. If we move over to the right here, we're currently on the square. It has to be right here. Yep, which means the prism has to be one more forward. And we're already at 45 left. We're doing really, really well. The diamond has to be in the third position, over on that position right here. Diamond right there. That means the square should be the last one remaining. Yep. Okay. Dodecahedron right there. Prism. Next one right there. Yep. And essentially you see the Sudoku puzzle. Each row and column has one of each of the every exact symbol, and each of the grids will essentially have exactly one symbol. That's what we're looking for. If I haven't explained that already. 1. Yep, there we go. So that's going to be our prism. I believe I can see a symbol back there. We cannot. That's going to have to be the square, and that next one's going to be the diamond. Yep, that's good. Moving right one, so that's going to be our square. Yep. And then moving one more forward, that's going to be our prism. Yep. Okay. This one's also coming along really, really well, too. That's actually really nice for us. If we go up right there, okay. And if we were to go, for example, right here, that's is going to be our prism. Right 2 times is going to be our square. Okay, moving off to the right over here, we can actually fill up this column perfectly. That's awesome. That's going to be our dodecahedron. That's going to be our prism here. That's going to be our square. That's what we're missing for that one. Taking a look at our rows, the third position is going to be our dodecahedron right there, which means our first position should be the diamond. Yep. Taking a look over here, this is going to be our square. Yep. Continuing on, dodecahedron is going to be in the second position right there. That's going to be the remaining one is going to be the diamond. One to the right, yep. The remaining in this one is going to be the square. One to the right of that is going to be the diamond, or one to the left of that, I mean, diamond. And is that actually a completely filled one? I think it is. I think we just filled another one. That's perfect. Yeah, okay. So now we can start taking a look at some other ones. Okay, this is a little bit interesting. Is there any 2s that we can figure out? Yes, okay, so we can figure out over here with this dodecahedron and the cube. Let's see if we can figure out where our prisms and diamonds have already been placed in other positions. Let's see if we can eliminate anything. Diamond has been placed back there. That's what we need to see. So that means we can place the diamond. We need to place the diamond in the one that is closer to us. So let's go over to the right here. 1, 2, one that's closer. Yep, that's good. And that means our prism is going to be placed in the in this position, right back here. Okay. Good start. Good start. we're gonna have to probably look at some other grids again, because this is just another tricky one. Is there anything we can build off of this one? I'd rather not touch this one, quite frankly, because of the fact that this is just, there is a lot of options of which we could take a look at, but there is not really that much we can actually do with this one. Kind of try and stay away from this one and try and focus on ones that have a little bit more clues. Any other twos that can help us? Oh, with the square and the dodecahedron here, can we figure out any squares or any diamonds or triangles on this side? The diamond cannot go in the 4th position. That's going to be good for us. The diamond cannot go in the 4th position. So let's go to here. So the diamond has to go here, and the prism has to go here. Backing up one, we know that for a fact the diamond cannot go in the 3rd. So it's going to go in the 4th. Yep. Square right there. We're at the triangle right now, so that means we can go. This has to be our dodecahedron. And this has to be our diamond. Okay. The dodecahedron cannot go in the 4th position. That means it has to go in the 3rd. Prism has to go in there. All the way up right there. That has to be our square. And have to be our prism. Okay. Okay, this is definitely looking like it's a really good one. This is really, really shaping up right now. Let's go back to the leftmost. Let's go down here. We want to go back to here. Yep. We know for a fact that the diamond cannot go in this position because of the fact that there is that diamond right there. That interferes with it, so that means it's going to be the other symbol, which is the square. Right twice, the diamonds, right there. Yep. Anything else that we can figure out? Ooh, square right here cannot go here. That means it's going to be the prism, and then that's going to be our square right here. One to the right is going to be our prism. We have 7 more symbols left. That's all we need to do. I insist that we focus on this one because this is going to be really helpful for us. Right here, this is going to be our dodecahedron. Okay. Let's keep looking. Perhaps there's something that can help us here. Let's take a look at the other grids with this dodecahedron and this triangle. Let's figure out if we can figure out any squares or diamonds in the 1st or 3rd position in this row. Dodecahedron that's not what we're looking for. Ooh, bingo. 3rd position has the square in it. That means that we cannot place this position with the square in it. Just make sure that actually was the position. Yeah, that's the square, definitely. So that means we need to place that square in the 1st position. So let's go x is 0, Yankee is 3 down here. That means we have to place it here. Off to the right is going to be the diamond that we're missing. Okay, up a little bit is going to be to a square. Okay, that's really good. Ooh, okay. This has to be a prism because of the fact that we need a square in this column with the diamond and the dodecahedron. We cannot have the square here, so that's going to be a prism. Bring it down here, that's a square. We need 1 more symbol left. That's all we need, and then we will finally solve this module. So let's take a look. Find anything that guarantees it. And remember what I said is that if you happen to press a symbol at the wrong position, it will immediately give you a strike. This is not all hypothetical. This is simply, there is only one logical solution of which you can get from this. Any symbol placed is wrong. So let's take a look and let's see if we can figure out our last symbol that we can place. We're going to have to use another grid, it looks like. So let's take a look perhaps at the top, and let's see if we can figure out any position for the prism and the cube. Let's see if we can take a look at this top column here, because all we need is 1. Prism and cube, not helping us. Bingo. Prism cannot go in the 3rd position, right here. So that means prism is going to go in the 4th. If we bring it back to us, prism cannot go in the 3rd. Let's bring it x is 2. Prism has to be in the 4th position. And once we hit the symbol, just like that, is a solved module. And all of the stuff will start cycling in their correct positions. And just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and please don't go to solo hell like I did. Of course, if you choose to, be my guest. See you guys later. Bye-bye.